Welcome to yoga. Yoga with Joyful. This is Joyful. She's my little helper. I'm going to wait a few minutes to get started. Today's topic is back care, which we all need to take care of our backs because without our backs we can't do anything. So backs are very important. If this is your first time joining me for yoga, please understand that this is your practice. If I invite you to do something that your body doesn't want to do, please don't do it. There's no need to push in any of the poses. You will find plenty of openings without going to your deepest, baddest stretch. So you just want to make sure that you're finding some stretch, and then that's good enough. We're not going to do anything really exotic today, but if anything feels uncomfortable for you, please don't do it. Some of the poses are meant to be uncomfortable, and if that's so, I will say so. So we'll go ahead and get started. Find a comfortable seated position, whatever that means for you. I'm sitting cross-legged. Rest your hands where that's comfortable for you, and close your eyes if you're okay with that. And just begin to allow yourself to ground deeply through your seat bones. Begin to open your hips. Allow yourself to be fully present in this moment. We have 45 minutes or so to fulfill our goal, which is to feel better at the end of the practice than we do at the beginning. So here at the beginning of the practice, take note of how your body feels today. Are there any areas of stiffness or soreness or tightness? And if so, you want to drop a little bit of breath, a little bit of awareness into those areas, and just notice those areas throughout our practice today. This is your practice. Yoga Journal is not coming to photograph me or you. This is for you, okay? So that you feel better about how you're able to move within your body today. So allow your breath to come from your belly. Shoulders hang softly down. Hands are relaxed. Thighs are relaxed. Spine is erect. Neck is free. Just allowing the breath to invigorate your body. And now take a deep breath, open your eyes, interlace your fingers, palms away, arms overhead, and begin to release the side body. So it's the opposite side body. So I'm stretching to the left, it's my right side body, grounding through that opposite seat bone. It wants to jump up, and just invite it to stay down. Again, no need to go into your deepest stretch here. We're going to be exploring strength and relaxation through the whole back today. We want to be very respectful of our back. You know, it's so easy as we get older that it's so easy for the back to get stiff and tight and to lose mobility. And even an action just as simple as this can help restore your mobility, allow you to feel more ease in your body. This action of having the arms overhead is not an action that we typically do during our day-to-day activities, and allows more room in the rib cage so you can take deeper breaths. And now release that. Interlace your hands behind you, shoulder blades together in the back, palms away from the body, collarbones are long, looking up, arching the back like the lady on the front of a Rolls Royce. Really rolling the upper arms away from the body and towards each other in the back. And again, this is not an action that we typically do during our normal day activities. So it's good to begin to expand our options. and release. Right hand down, left arm up overhead, looking up underneath that left arm, opening that left side body, grounding the left hip, really feeling that opening. And again, this is not your biggest, baddest stretch, doesn't need to be. We're going to explore a number of different movements today. Make sure that all of your movements are slow enough that you can be really aware of the impact that this movement is having on your body. And also that you can choose whether this is an action that's good for your body. So switching sides, looking up underneath that right arm. Hello, Joy. Noticing that one side is always easier. That means one side is always harder, tighter, different. And at this point, there's no need to make things match. You're just exploring what your body looks like today. And now both hands out in front of you, walking your hands forward until you begin to feel something in your hips. And the action is of pulling your hands toward you. That doesn't actually happen, but that's the action. And what that does is it helps activate your upper thoracic spine, so your upper rib cage area in the back, shoulder blades slide down towards your waist. So we're already activating the upper back. Typically, people feel pain in the lower back, and that's often caused by lack of mobility in other places, so that the low back has to take the brunt of the movement that we would like to do in our bodies. So if we can mobilize the upper back, keep the hips soft, open the psoas, open the hamstring, that allows the low back to just do its own job. And walk your hands back. Now a simple twist to the right, left hand to the right thigh, right hand behind you as a kickstand, allowing the twist to originate inside your pelvis, come through the low back, into the upper back, leave the neck out of the twist. So your nose stays in front of your sternum. So there's a little bit of pulling with the left hand, a little bit of pushing with the right hand, but there's no need to really try and increase this twist to your maximum. Again, we're going to be exploring this movement over again, so you're just allowing things to open at their own speed. I was offered a phrase this past week that I really like, and it's marginal gains. So you're just looking for a little tiny change. There's no need to find a dramatic, amazing, super duper change, just a marginal gain, okay? So just tiny actions over time allow big changes to occur in what appears, when you look back, to be a short period of time. But the focus is on these marginal gains, tiny little changes. And with great loving kindness, release that. Right hand to the left knee, left hand behind you as a kickstand. Noticing how this side is different. It's all good. Moving your head out of the twist. Marginal gains. Okay, so tiny, just asking for tiny little changes is really adequate. That's really sufficient. Over time, it causes really big gains. But there's no need to get greedy and grab for enormous changes, because that's where injuries lie. We don't like injuries. Injuries are bad. In yoga, we have this phrase, pain is pain, and we try not to go to pain. You just want marginal gains, little tiny incremental improvements, or little tiny incremental openings. Inhale, come back to center, and just notice how you feel. These are very simple movements. What we've just done is our opening. little practice here. And notice how you feel. Notice how your spine feels now. Okay, so I have a lot more mobility in the upper thoracic spine for this very short little opening. Okay, so now we're going to come down onto your back body, and I'm going to sit kind of sideways so you can see. You can stay straight on your mat. So here when you lie down, your back is fully supported. Allow your legs to straighten on the mat or on the floor. Pull each shoulder blade underneath your body so your back is flat. Shoulder blades are flat. Palms face up. Now we often do this particular pose with a strap, and today we're going to do it without a strap. So this is Supta Padangusthasana, or reclined big toe pose. So for this pose, you're going to draw your right leg straight up to the ceiling or up to the sky, however you are in your practice. So here you're activating your psoas. Your psoas is a tiny, narrow, skinny muscle that originates on the front side of your spine at about the area of where your rib cage joins your low back, crosses the hip and inserts on the femur. And it's a major hip flexor. And if it's tight, it can cause an overarched low back. And this particular pose, done without props, helps to strengthen the psoas. Now, very slowly, lower the legs straight down. And you may notice where your psoas is as you do this. And when your leg finds the ground, notice how your two legs feel. So my right leg now feels longer than my left. So I'm going to draw the left leg up. Let it face the ceiling. And then very slowly lower it back down. Noticing that one side feels different than the other. And now we raise both legs up. Really solid in your upper back. And then begin to lower the legs. Now, if this bothers your low back at all, you can bend the knees. And now when you get about halfway down, stop. Quivering is normal. And then bend your knees, place your feet on the floor. So there we're activating the abdominals, and the abdominals help to protect the low back by taking some of the arch out of the low back. We need strong abdominals to have a safe low back area. So hands are down by your side again. And now with the knee bent, you're going to lift up the right leg so the shin is parallel to the floor, and then let it come back down. And notice that that activates the abdominals. And now the left leg comes up and comes down. And now we continue this process, alternating the legs. Just noticing how this really activates your girdle area, okay? So the front of your abdominal, and low down, okay? Really low down by the hip joint. When you complete the next set, let both legs be next to each other. Feet are on the floor. Arms go out to the side a little bit more, and now you lift your knees so your shins are parallel to the floor. Knees are bent. really solid in the upper back. Now we're going to activate this side body. So this is belly rolling pose. So now your knees fall to one side, looking the opposite direction with your head. You don't need to go down very far. And come up, other side. And you'll notice your side body kick in here, yes? And come up, change sides. So we work on the front body and the side body to help protect the back. All right, now let the feet come down and roll over and come to hands and knees. And now we'll look at the actual back body. So wrists are under the shoulders, knees are underneath the pelvis. And now we're going to go to a tiger pose. So right leg back, left arm forward. And then both out to the side, gaze is downward. And going out and back. So this activates the longissimus, the long muscles along the spine on your back. And you may notice that your abs are also engaged here. And come back to hands and knees. Tiger pose the other way. Left leg back, right arm forward, and then going out and back. Really activating the abs, activating the back, the longissimus. And you'll notice that one side is easier to balance than the other. This is also a balancing pose. And come back to hands and knees. And now you come to stand on your knees. Bring the right leg forward. So the shin is parallel, is straight up and down. Thigh is parallel to the earth. Okay, so here we're beginning to release the quadricep on the standing knee, the left knee. The big muscle in the front of the thigh has to release before we can get into the psoas. So you're thinking about dropping your tailbone down, bringing the pubis up, belly button comes back towards your spine. So your low back is neutral. And you can put your hands in your back to feel that. So you push your spine into your hand in the back to help bring the pelvis into neutral alignment. Often, the top of the pelvis is pulled forward, and now we're going to help release that. So this is the quads being released. Now walk that front leg forward. Let that back leg straighten out any amount. And what that does, okay, so you have your knee, your elbow on your knee. So upper back is fairly upright. This leg is the stabilizer for the pelvis so that you can open the psoas on the back knee, the back hip. And again, let the tailbone float down, belly button comes towards the spine, back is flat. You can put your hand in your low back to make sure that's happening. And now press back, straighten that front leg any amount. So this is going to be hamstring on the front leg. And if your hamstrings are tight, that can also contribute to back pain. And the reason that contributes to back pain is that your pelvis is not able to go into a neutral place if the hamstrings are too tight. And if you can't get into good hip flexion in a forward bend, all of the forward bend arises from the low back, which it's not supposed to do that. That's a hip task. So this is giving you more mobility in the hip. When we release the psoas and release the hamstring, it allows your hip to do the task that it's designed for, which is to allow forward and backward bending without straining the low back. And now come back to standing on your knees. And notice how your two sides feel when we're up here in camel pose, Ustrasana. So we want the pelvis to be neutral. So now bring the left leg forward. So the shin is vertical. And notice that one side is always different than the other. It's not a contest. There's no race. You're just exploring how your body feels today. That's really the task. Hey. We want to feel like a cat. We want to have optimal muscle use. So when we're down and relaxed, we're completely relaxed. And then when we want to, chase something, we have all the power that is available to us. All right, walk that foot forward. Straighten the back hip any amount. Stabilizing the elbow on your thigh. Draw your pubis up, tailbone down, really allowing that psoas to open. As riders, it's really critical that we have good mobility in the hips. That's what allows you to sit the trot. It allows you to follow the movement of the canter. It allows you to be in a neutral place with your age so that you're neither, you're not asymmetrical. One side isn't tighter than the other. You can give clear aids to your horse. Yes. And now begin to straighten that front knee any amount. Oh, no. Yes. Straighten that front knee any amount. So this is supposed to be hamstring, okay? So if you're feeling it in your hamstring, that's good. And now come back standing on your knees, Ustrasana, camel pose. And notice how your two sides feel. Hopefully it's a little more symmetrical. Again, tailbone down, pubis up, pelvis in a neutral position. Very often, people who sit on furniture, like us, tend to have a forward tilt to the pelvis. And it's our goal as someone who's a caretaker for the back that you have in this go-round to have that pelvis be in a neutral position, neither tipped forward nor tipped back. All right, so now we're going to come to the side body. And again, I'm going to come sideways so you can see. Hopefully I don't get out of camera range. So I have my bottom leg, in this case my left leg, is bent. Right leg is straight, top leg is straight. So my right hand is on the right leg, and now I'm going to lift that right leg straight up. Okay, and notice that that activates the side body. This is a variation on Vishnu's couch. Vishnu's couch. So notice that this really activates the side abdominals. It also activates the outer hip area, which is a weak area. These are not muscles that we use on a day-to-day basis. And we want all of the hip muscles around the hip area to be functional and useful and operational. And so this just allows your body to remember that this is part of the hip apparatus, is just the side stretching out to the side. Shaking is normal. Did I mention this is a weak muscle? This is a weak muscle. And now bend that knee, and you're going to switch around to the other side. So the bottom knee is in alignment with your body and bent. Top leg is straight. Supporting yourself with your elbow on the floor. Left hand is on the left leg and lifting that left leg. And you may notice that one side, it's a weak muscle, okay? But one side could be weaker than the other. And it doesn't matter how high up you get the leg. I'm mostly interested in just activating that whole side of the body, from underneath the armpit, the abdominals, and the outer hip. Vishnu's couch. I don't name them. And now fold the knees and come to standing. And I'm at the back of my mat. It doesn't really matter where you are. Shoulder blades down. Finding mountain pose, which is a very active standing pose. Feet are a little bit apart. Legs are almost straight, little micro bends so that you're not locking your knees. Shoulders are on top of the hips. Notice if you can get that pelvis a little more neutral. So it might be more neutral than it was when you started your practice today. And now we're going to look at half sun salutations with an emphasis on the forward bend. And I say emphasis, and I don't mean your deepest forward bend, just noticing the forward bend. Hands to heart center. Inhale, arms overhead, looking up. Exhale, forward fold from the hip hinge. Inhale, halfway up, looking forward. Exhale, fold. And notice how far you're folding. You don't need to try to push more, just notice. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Again, inhale up. Exhale, forward fold from the hip hinge. So your back is completely flat here. And then at the very last second, you can roll down a little bit. This should not be any strain in your low back. If it is, stay in half forward fold with your back flat. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Again, inhale up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway up, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Again, inhale up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center, and just rest here for a moment. Allow your hands to come to your side into mountain pose again. And hopefully this sequence that includes a forward fold felt good on your back. So we've done a lot of preparations so that your hips are doing the job that they're tasked with, which is folding and unfolding and being the major strength to bring you back up, but also the major release to allow you to come down. And now we're going to come into a variation of Warrior 3. So in Warrior 3, the whole body looks like a capital letter T, but we're just going to look like the front part. So folding at the hip hinge until your upper body is parallel to the floor. And you can rest your hands on your thighs. I'm going to place them on my back. So this is a back strengthener. Warrior 3 is typically done as a balancing pose, so it's not held very long. But because we're not doing it as a balancing pose today, I want to hold it longer. I want to hold it longer so it becomes a strengthener for the back. And the back is in a neutral position here. Shoulder blades together in the back. Back is flat. But notice that this activates all of those back muscles. And because we're not folding, collapsing the spine, it allows your back to just strengthen. And then with an inhale, come back up to neutral. Mountain pose. Notice how you feel. Okay, so we're not quite done with strengthening the back. Come back down to your mat. Lie on your back. Knees are bent. Feet on the floor. You gotta pet the cat on the way. So we're gonna go into bridge pose. Palms face down. Make sure you bring each shoulder blade underneath your body. Feet are fairly close to your pelvis. Knees are close but not touching. Back is neutral, neck is neutral. And you're going to lift the pelvis up. So it activates the upper back, mid back. Primary mover is the hips. Okay, the hip flexor, the hip extensors, which is your hamstring, and gluteus, are strengthened here, and the whole longissimus area of the spinal area of your back, the back of your back. And now let your pelvis come down towards the floor, but not touching, and then press back up. And the object here is that each leg is pushing evenly. So now we go up and down at your own speed, really making sure that each leg is pushing evenly. And going slowly helps you figure that out. You may find that one leg takes over at one point of the pushing up, and the other leg takes over at a different point. Or maybe you're just completely even. I'm not. Now, notice how much the front of your thigh, your quadricep, is contributing to this action. So you would like the back of your thigh and the front of your thigh to be doing about equal work here. And now let the pelvis come all the way down to the mat. Draw your knees into your chest. Wrap your arms around your knees and rock from side to side if that feels good for you. And now let your hands come down, feet come down. Feet are close together now. And we'll do eye of the needle. So place your right ankle on your left knee and then draw both legs up. So you draw your right leg in that hole there. Clasp your hands together, either behind your thigh or in front of your shin, whatever's comfortable for you. And then you can rock from side to side. So your back is fully supported here. And this pose is a release for the outer hip. I shouldn't have to say that, you can probably feel it. Sucharandrasana, eye of the needle. And then release your hands, both feet on the mat, wiggle around a little bit. Notice how your two sides feel. And then place the left ankle on your right knee. Draw the whole assembly up. Clasp your hands either behind the thigh or in front of the shin. And you can rock from side to side if that feels good to you. Notice that one side will feel different than the other. This is normal. And release, let both feet come back down. Feet are still close together. Arms out to the side, palms face up. And now you're going to cross the right leg over the left tightly at the knee, like you were sitting in a chair with your knees crossed like a girl. And then let both knees drop to the left, looking to the right. Inhale back to neutral, drop both knees to the right, looking to the left. Inhale back to neutral, uncross your legs, wiggle around a little bit. And then cross the left leg over the right, knees are right on top of each other. Drop both legs to the right, looking to the left. Inhale up. Let both knees drop to the left, looking to the right. Inhale up, uncross your legs, wiggle around a little bit. And now place your feet about mat width apart, so much wider. Arms are still out to the side, palms face up. Let both knees fall to the right, looking to the left. Duryodhasana. Inhale the knees up. Exhale, knees fall to the left, looking to the right. Inhale the knees up, and you can let your knees go straight. Legs are flat on the floor. I'm going to sit up, but you're setting up for Shavasana. So pull each shoulder blade underneath your body so your palms face up. Close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. Allow yourself to rest completely on the floor. Feel your body completely supported. Allow your facial features to be soft. Your brain rests in the back of the skull. Eyes rest in the back of the socket. Breath is easy. Your tongue is soft in the bottom of your mouth. Jaw slightly parted. Your neck is long and free. Throat is open. Feel your shoulder blades flat on the floor. Arms are heavy. Fingers slightly curled. Feel your upper spine area, upper part of your rib cage, moving with your breath. The ribs move slightly with the breath. The sternum rises and falls with the breath. Belly is soft. Allow your organs to rest towards your back body. Lower back is wide and free. Feel your sacrum resting flat on the floor. Allow the wings of your pelvis to open. Notice your hips. They worked hard today, drawing a little more awareness into your hips, a little more freedom. Thighs are heavy. Feet are relaxed. And return to the sensation of the breath. Allowing the breath to nourish your body, drawing prana from the sun, from the earth, into your body. Allow the movement of your breath to contribute to the safety and health of your spine. Notice any areas of your body with more freedom, warmth, mobility. Remember how you felt in the beginning of your practice, and notice how you feel at this end of your practice. Notice your belly rising and falling with the breath. You're completely supported. completely safe. And now begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. Bend your knees, place your feet on the mat. Gently roll to your right side and rest there. And with the strength of your arms, press yourself up to seated. Bring your hands to heart center. Bow your head to your heart. I honor the place within you where the entire universe exists. I honor the place within you of peace, of joy, of light, and of love. I honor the place within you where, if you are in that place in you, and I am in that place in me, there can be only one of us. And that's the meaning of Namaste. Rub your palms together to generate warmth. Place your palms over your closed eyes. Open your eyes into the darkness and return your hands to heart center. Thank you for sharing your practice with me. I'm so glad you came today. May you bring this feeling with you for the rest of your day and the rest of your life. Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. Thank you.